Okay, so it's recorded. So maybe you may have to watch this all over again, and it's totally fine. Not everybody gets these things very fast. Not everybody actually gets it fast. And it's okay, it's absolutely fine. You may not be able to get it the first time, but trust me, you give it another chance, you give it another trial. It's easier for you to get it. So don't panic, just believe that you're going to get it. Just tell yourself you're going to get it, okay? So somebody dropped those 2 guidelines for me in the chat. Please don't panic. Don't make this a very rowdy call. It's going to be super easy. Trust me. I've made my notes as basic as possible. Okay, I've made my notes as basic as possible. So the very first one is don't panic. No matter, even if it seems blurry to you, please don't panic. The second one, just believe that you would understand it. Believe in yourself that you would understand it. Tell yourself you understand it, okay? Just tell yourself that you will understand it. So just give me a second. Let me quickly share my screen with you. Make sure that every single member of your team is on. You don't want anybody to miss out on this. Trust me, Swipecoin Scalper can really change a whole lot for you. A whole lot for you, a whole lot. I know most of us trade HFX here. I'm not a fan of HFX, but you know, it's still fine. It's still fine. I don't like the fact that 2 minutes everywhere, you understand? So I prefer my trades to, you know, take a while, and I don't like it to be bounded by time. So I'm not really an HFX fan like that. But you know, I see some people killing it in the HFX game, and it's absolutely fine. So it's fine. But I just want to show you another way. I mean, it's multiple streams of income. So you should be able to, you should be open to this, you should be able to try other things. And I really want you to be able to tap into the crypto market because everything is going digital now, and it's an amazing ride. Trust me, it's going to help you a whole lot. So just give me a second. Let me quickly share my screen. Firstly, I'll be talking on trading psychology. I'll be talking on trading psychology. If everybody can see my whiteboard, please drop a 333 in the chat box. If you can see my whiteboard, please drop a 333 in the chat box. If you can see my whiteboard, please drop a 333 in the chat box. Amazing. So I'm just going to be talking about trading psychology. I hope I'm spelling this right. Somebody spelled psychology in the box. I'm sorry about that. The spelling seems to go away from my head. Trading psychology, basically, I hope you get it. Okay, amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was just, the spelling was going away from my head. Yeah, trading psychology. Yeah. So what's trading psychology? See, trading is more of the mental phase, okay? Trading is what? More of a mental phase. Now, I want you to understand that trading, when you're trading, you need to understand that there's risk involved. That's one thing you need to know first. There's risk involved. So regardless of how good you are at trading, no matter how, like maybe it has about 95% accuracy that trade is going to go your own way. What I want you to understand is that the market will still do what it wants to do. Okay? It's more of, there's risk involved. You just need to understand that there's risk involved. If you know this, you'll be at peace with yourself. So for every trade that you take, no matter how accurate that the analyses are, the market will still do what it wants to do. The market doesn't care who you are. Maybe you're the richest or whatever, it doesn't care. The market will definitely do what it wants to do. So you cannot be too attached to the result. I know we all want to be profitable traders. We want to be the best trader. Trust me, once you're profitable and you're consistent, it's easier for you to trade this market. Okay? Once you understand that this market would do whatever it wants to do, regardless of your analysis, it's easier for you to make the right decision. You can't trade this market with emotions. You can't trade this market with any form of emotion. So mostly, I will urge you, if you're in a bad mood, you're not in the right state of mind, do not trade this market. Avoid the market, because your mind is going to play with you. There's some mind games that would actually play with you, and you start to think that this does not work. But you see, it's as a result of your mindset. It's as a result of you not accepting that regardless of your analysis, this trade is going to be whatever. Do you understand? You need to just accept that you would lose. It's normal. At the end of the day, what you want to be able to achieve from this market is to be profitable. So trading is 90% mindset and 10% skill. Your mindset, you need to try to be emotionless. Emotionless. You need to try to be emotionless. So you can't use emotion. This is not your boyfriend, never this. Whether it's your girlfriend, your fiancé, your family, this market consists of other people like you that want to make money. So for you to make money, there's somebody losing, just so you understand. So the tables may turn someday. We will even turn, and you may not be able to what? Win that day. And it's fine, because you can't be too attached. That's what makes you profitable. You can't be too attached. When you understand that you should be willing to lose to actually win. That's just the honest truth. Be willing to lose to actually win. That's exactly how it works. Be willing to lose to actually win. So for every trade that you take, ensure that you're not too attached to the results. If you're too attached, you try to force the market in your way. And when you try to force the market, what happens? You're already turning into a sore loser, or you're trying to revenge against the market. So basically, that's how trading psychology works. So there's actually a book that I would urge for everyone to read, Trading in the Zone. That's the name of the book. It's going to help, it's going to make you realize that trading is even more of mental states of mind than even the skills. The skills are involved, but it's more of your mental analysis. You need to be in the right state of mind. You need to understand that regardless, no matter how accurate your analysis are, the market will still do what it wants to do. Sometimes, I'm sure you notice that there are sometimes you take a trade and it probably goes to hit your stop loss before it goes to that direction. That has happened to you before. Drop a 222 in the chat box. You take a trade, you're super sure of that analysis. You're super, super sure. And guess what? It hits your stop loss before going to the right direction. It happens. And it's normal, it's okay. The only way you will not be affected is if you're practicing proper risk management and you're not too attached to the results. You can't be too attached. When you can get your mind off of that, oh, what if I lose? Get your mind off it. Now, another thing is that most of us are impulsive. You act under impulse, you know, because you're trading, trading is going to bring a different you out. You might think that you're not an impulsive person, but with trading, you act under impulse. Maybe now you've made an analysis, you've already done your analysis. You know that at this particular price, when you enter this particular price, you win that trade. But now the trade is already going, and immediately you act out of impulse and you enter that trade, and the trade goes down. Has that happened to you before? That's happened to you before. Drop some 77 in the chat box. Like, your analysis is correct, but because you're acting under impulse, you see the trade is already going. You're like, oh, Phil, I don't want to miss out. And what do? You quickly enter. That's because your mental state is not right. Yes, it's so funny. It happens to me. It happens to me. It happens to every good trader. So try not to be impulsive. Wait for the market to come to you. If the market has gone, let it go. Drop some let it go in the chat box. If the market goes, let it go. Drop some let it go in the chat box. If the market goes, let it go. Let it go. It's fine. It's better for you to actually stay off the market than to lose the trade. It's better. If you notice, sometimes Swipecoin will give some trades. Swipecoin would actually give some trades, and they'll give you a particular zone for you to actually enter that trade. and maybe you took the lowest zone possible. It did not get to that lowest zone. It's probably going from a higher zone. And you start to, get scared, or you start to have that fear in you, and you jump into it, and guess what? It goes down. You want to what? Avoid that. Avoid that at any cost, please. I'm telling you from experience. You see, I've lost several accounts because of my negligence, because of all these things I'm explaining to you. This is the most important part of trading. This is, if you can deal with this part, I'm telling you, trading is going to be easy for you. If you can actually grow your mind in such a way that you're not scared, you believe in your analysis, regardless of the results, because sometimes your analysis may not work for a whole week. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It might just be that week. You might just be having a bad week, and it's fine. It doesn't mean you start to change it. So far, that analysis has proved a whole lot for you. Go on with it. You practice for a while and you get better at it. And don't be scared of losing, please. Do not be scared of losing. So if you can master trading psychology, like I said, read the book, Trading is in the Zone by, I think his name is Mark Douglas. Yeah. Read it. I don't know if this is how to spell it. Read that book. It's very, very essential. It's going to help you. It's going to help your mental state. And you get to understand that once you master how to control your mind or control that mental state, it's easier for you to be a profitable trader. Trust me, most people actually lose because they don't know how to master their mind. Most people lose not because it's a scam or not because of anything. Some people are so good, but they never win. Some people are literally good, but they never win. You know what? They are scared. Their mind is all over the place. Okay? Sometimes you've done some analysis, but the truth is, at some point in time, you're probably scared to take that trade, and the trade starts to go your direction. It hits TP1, hits TP2, hits TP3. And the next minute, because you missed that one, you're acting out of impulse to take another one that was not properly analyzed. It happens to everybody. So I want you to be able to, learn trading psychology properly, and it's easier for you to be a profitable trader. There's no trader that doesn't lose. Trust me, I lose too. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, your profit wants to be more than your loss. That's how it works, okay? So that's all on trading psychology. I really wish every one of you can be able to master this. If you can master this, it's going to give you peace of mind. And when you're trading, you're not going to be so sad like before, okay? So let me quickly share my screen. Just give me a second. Let me quickly share my screen so that you can see how the Swipecoin Scalper literally works, okay? So if everybody can see my screen clearly, please drop a 555 in the chat box. If you can see my screen clearly, kindly drop a 555 in the chat box. If everybody can see my screen clearly, amazing. So this is the Swipecoin Scalper, swipecoin.im. Somebody drop it in all of your groups. Drop it in the group chat, in the chat box rather, swipecoin.im. That's the website for the Swipecoin Scalper strategy. Trust me, remember what I told you at the beginning, don't panic, okay? The second one is believe you understand it, okay? If I can understand it, you can understand it better, okay? So please drop swipecoin.im in all of your group chats, and also drop it in the chat box. Amazing. So this is how the Swipecoin interface actually looks like, okay? This is how the Swipecoin interface actually looks like. Please, if you're a newbie, please do not be scared. It's okay. Maybe you've never seen all of this before. It's absolutely fine. You will get it. Now, this is our alert panel where you see your BTC USD, ETH USD, and all. Usually, I don't use the alert panel because you can be able to use the Swipecoin Scalper even when you don't get an alert. You can be able to use what? The Swipecoin Scalper even when you don't get an alert. Now, this Swipecoin Scalper is actually based on the 15 minutes time frame. The Swipecoin Scalper is based on the 15 minutes time frame. What that simply means is, I'm sure you have seen all of this here. This that looks like a candle. These things that you see on my screen are what we call candlesticks, okay? It means that these candlesticks take 15 minutes to form. It means that every candlestick that you see here, whether green or whether red, it takes what, 15 minutes for that candle to form. And it's a combination of 1 minute candle. That means 1 minute. If you go to the 1 minute time frame, let's go to the one. Oh, we don't have the 1 minute time frame. Let's say the 5 minutes time frame now. For the 5 minutes time frame, every candle on here takes 5 minutes to form. Now it consists of what? 5 1 minute candle. For the 5 minutes, it consists of what? 5 1 minute candle. Then for the 15 minutes, each candle consists of what? 3 5 minutes candle. It's just telling you that, oh, this candle takes what? 15 minutes to form. Candlesticks are the way the market is being interpreted. The candlesticks are the way in which the market is being interpreted. Now, with Swipecoin Scalper, it's going to give you access to what we call scalping. Now, scalping is you actually leveraging on what is happening currently in the market. Scalping actually means you leveraging on what is currently happening in the market, what is currently happening at that moment. There are some times that you see on longer time frame is probably a buy trend. And by the time you come to your 15 minutes, it seems like what is a sell trend. Because at that point in time, what? Selling is happening. Do you understand me? Sometimes you go to your higher time frame, maybe your 4-hour time frame, your daily, your weekly, or your monthly. You might see a buy trend that is happening there. But when you come to your 15 minutes, you might see a sell trend and you start to wonder, what's happening? It means that what? That's exactly what's happening currently. That sell is what is happening currently. So you want to be able to what? Leverage off of what is happening currently in the market, okay? So now, how do you use your Swipecoin Scalper? It's super, super easy, okay? Very, very easy. There are 4 steps on how we can use what? 4 steps to follow, the guidelines to follow when using what? The Swipecoin Scalper. Please, somebody drop it in the group chats, drop it in the chat box. 4 steps, 4 major steps to follow. If you can follow that step, it's easier for you to profit from this market. Please do not be what we call I too know. Don't try to believe that you overknow it. If they say follow what? 4 steps, please follow it. Don't try to put your own magic in it. The only time you can try to put your own magic is if your magic has been profitable for you over a period of time. Just follow the process. Don't try to do it. Don't try to, where sugar is not needed. Don't try to add salt where salt is not needed. Okay? Just follow the 4 steps. Please follow the 4 steps. If you follow these 4 steps, it's easier for you to profit off this market. Please, somebody drop the 4 steps in the chat. Please, somebody drop the 4 steps. Somebody drop the 4 steps so that everybody can follow exactly what I'm doing. Somebody drop the 4 steps. So I'm just going to go through the 4 steps. I'm going to go through the 4 steps of using the Swipecoin. Please, nothing like currency strength meter. Please, we're not trading HFXs. Like I told you, I'm not a fan of HFX. Doesn't mean it's bad, but I'm not a fan of 2 minutes everywhere scattered. I don't know how to do that. Trust me, it's not my thing. I don't even like the idea of that. So nothing like currency strength meter on here. Please, that's for HFX. Nothing like currency strength meter on here. So now the very first step is to do what? Change these charts. Change this chart, this candlestick on this chart to what? Line. That's the very first step. Change these candlesticks that you have on here to what? Line. That's the first step. Is everybody following? The first step is what? Change the candlesticks on the chart to line. Where do you get the line from? Here. Line. If you're following me, drop 555. If everybody is good with step 1, drop 555. If everybody is good with step 1, drop 555. If everybody is good with step 1, amazing. Super easy, yeah? Change it to line. That's the very first thing. Now, what do you want to do? The next step is what? Identify market structure, which is what? Support and resistance. That may be a little bit tricky, especially if you've never done it before. Now, I'm going to explain to you what support and resistance mean, okay? Remember, I told you, don't panic. Don't panic and believe you understand, okay? Now, what is support? Let me get an horizontal line. Just give me a second. So I'm going to draw 2 lines, one for support and one for what? Resistance. Okay? Now, what is support? Support is more or less like your floor for your candlesticks to rest on. Not for every home, we have the foundation, which is the floor. We have the floor and we have the roof. Now, support is like your floor where your candlesticks actually rest on. Okay, support, this line here is what we call what? Let me put it here, support. This line here is what we call what? Support. That's your floor. Support is what? Your floor. Now, resistance is your roof. This line, I'm just giving an instance, okay? This line is what we call support. Support is your floor. Just take it that way. Don't try to convince yourself. Don't try to overanalyze it. When you try to overanalyze it, that's when it becomes complicated. Don't try to overanalyze it. Just take it. Support is what? Your floor. Now, this is what? Your support. This line here is what? Your support. Can you see? This line is what? Your support. Now, resistance is your roof. Resistance is your roof. It's just like for every home, there's a floor and there's a roof. Some people will say it's your ceiling. There's a floor and there's a ceiling. Okay, so resistance is what? Your ceiling. Resistance is what? Your ceiling. So let's mark this as our resistance. This is our resistance. Resistance is what? Your ceiling. Now, when you want to relate this to your chart, it's super easy. What that means is that for every chart that you have, there's always a support and there's a resistance. It means that, let me show you. Let me give you an instance. Let me draw something so that it doesn't. Now, the market is either moving sideways or is moving up and down. So for instance, this is a support. This is how the market can actually move. Okay. I just want to show you how the markets can actually move sometimes. Now, sometimes your market moves like that. So what it means is that for every candle that probably starts here, it can go all the way up. When it gets to the resistance, it bounces back. It comes here again. Respect this. Like I said, don't panic. Some of you are already panicking. You're already asking questions ahead of even where I am. Let's follow this. If you know this before, let's just give chance to the newbies. This is more for the newbies, okay? Now, your candlesticks, your markets might probably start from here, goes up, hit the resistance, come back down, respect this support that we have here, go up, respect that resistance, come down, respect what? The support again. Do you understand? It has started to form. What I'm just trying to say is what? All of these things is happening within a zone. Like a particular, something that is happening right now in the market is happening within a zone. Please do not be confused. You will get it. Just understand that what? Support is the floor. Resistance is the roof. Now that you understand this, that sometimes you have patterns like this in the market. Now let's go to the charts. Remember, I told you the second step is that you want to what? Identify, let me delete this. You want to what? Identify support and resistance. That's what you want to do. You want to what? Identify support and resistance. How do you do that? Now, let me look for something around here. Okay, let me use this. So what I want to do is I want to draw a support line. Sir. Now, why did I draw a support line here? Remember, from this place, what did I tell you? Started from here, went up, came back here, went up, came back here. Now, this is a support here. Now, let me go back to where I drew this line. Look at it. Can you see that everything that is happening, what did he do? Went here, went up, came back here. Can you see what happened? Look at this line. He came here, he touched this zone, bounced up, came back again and touched this zone. That's like a good support for me. That, okay, let's go to the past. You can see, it shows that it's a good support because what? You can see that it was formerly a resistance. Remember, for resistance, what happens for resistance? See resistance, up, is hitting that zone. Now, let's go back to it. Can you see what's happening here? It came up, respected that zone, came down. Let's go to the past. Came up, respected this zone, came down. 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 Are you seeing it? You see that that's a roof for all of these candles here. Like this line, can you see that this is a roof? If it's making sense to you, drop a 777. If it's making sense to you, drop a 777. Let me know if you're following. If it's making sense to you, drop a 77. Okay, amazing. You see what's happening? Currently is a support for us because what? Came down, respected that zone, bounced off. Respected it again, bounced off. Now, if we try to backtest it, backtesting means that you're going back. You're going back to what has happened in the market before. Now, going back to what has happened in the market before, it was a former resistance. So this resistance flipped support. This resistance what? Flipped support. It was a resistance in the past, and what? It became a support. Was former resistance and became what? Support. That's it. That's how valid a zone that your resistance or support can be. Most times, most of your supports that you draw today, your floor for each candle is probably a resistance in the past, or probably a support in the past. If you try to go back, you will see that that zone has what? Been tested before. Like those candles have literally bounced on that floor before. So you see, recently it was a support, but on going back, what was it? It was a resistance before. Now, if we go back, we might see that it was what? A support too at some point. See, at this point in time too, you see what happened? He respected it. No matter how small, he touched it before. And when he touched it, he went up. So anywhere your candle bounce off, when your candle bounce off a particular zone, that's what? Your support. Like you hit, if you throw a ball on the floor, if it bounces on the floor, assume that that's your candle. It bounces on that floor. It doesn't break the floor. That's your support. Do you understand me? You throw a ball on the floor, it bounces on that floor. It doesn't break that floor. That's a support zone. If it does it severally, it's even a more valid support zone. Then for what? Resistance. You throw your ball to the ceiling. It hits the ceiling. It doesn't break your ceiling. That's a good resistance. That's a resistance for you. It means that what? Is respecting the fact that there's a ceiling there. Is respecting what? The fact that there's a ceiling there. Then for the floor, is respecting the fact that a floor is there. I hope you're following. If you're following, please drop a 555, drop 555 in the chat box. I just want you to understand it. You may still need to, watch this again. You may still need to watch this again, but don't confuse yourself. It's super easy. Don't confuse yourself. You might just still need to watch it again. You might still need to go to Shemo Gutosi's favorite session to actually watch a whole lot. I just want you to get an idea of how this works, okay? So it's that easy. It's super easy. Now, what have we done here? Based on our current markets, we have identified what? A support zone. Based on our current market, we have what? Identify a support zone. Now, let me try to find another support zone. As time goes on, you'll be able to do it as fast as I'm doing it. Now, why did I put this line here? Let's go to the past. Guys, can you see this? What happened here? Touch this zone, bounced off. Touch this zone, bounced off. Touch this zone, bounced off. Is that a support there? If that's a support, drop support in the chat box. If that is a support, drop support in the chat box. If that is a support, drop support in the chat box. Amazing, yeah? Is that easy? You just need to understand where, okay, if you draw those imaginary lines, those lines there, market must have reacted at that floor for you to what? Call it a what? Support. When you see that floor in the market, where market has reacted, or when you draw your line, sometimes for starters, when you draw that line, maybe a lot of points will not meet. Just look at the chart. You'll be able to see it. You will see it when you try to put your line, you start to see, okay, which zone did all these candles, touch before going up? Where did it create a floor? Once you understand this, you can draw a very good support, okay? Same as your resistance. Which zone did it touch up before, which zone is it respecting? Which ceiling has it created? Do you understand me? So it's that easy. It's very, very simple. Now that's step 2. Step 2 is what? Identifying support and resistance. Now, the next thing that you want to know is what? Step 3. Step 3 is very, very easy. Step 3 is understanding the EMA. Step 3 is understanding the EMA. What's the EMA? Exponential moving average, okay? The 50 EMA, that's what this yellow line is. This yellow line that you have here is what? The 50 EMA. This yellow line is what? The 50 EMA. Now, what do you want to use this EMA line? It actually tells you direction of the market. It shows you where market is actually going. It shows the direction of the market. Now, when price, which is the blue line, remember, all these candlesticks are represented by the price, what is happening currently in the market, okay? Now, when this blue line is above this yellow line, it means that it is a buy. When this blue line, which means price, is above what? This yellow line, it means that what? It is a buy. Now, when the yellow line is above the blue line, it's a sell. Let me come again. Blue line above the yellow line is a buy. Yellow line above the blue line is a sell. Now, let me ask you this question. When your yellow line is above a blue line, what is that called? When your EMA, which is a yellow line, is above your what? Blue line, what's that called? Some people are putting buy. Some people are putting buy. Please don't put sell because everybody's putting sell. If it doesn't mean sell to you, you can drop your answers in the chat box. If it's not sell to you, you don't need to follow the crowd. If you don't understand it, it's okay, it's fine. So you don't have to put sell because everybody's putting sell. Now let me come again. This blue line signifies price. Okay, the blue line is price. That's the fluctuation of price in the market. Now this yellow line is your EMA line, your 50 EMA line. Now, when your blue line, just write it down. You can always go back to it, okay? When your blue line is above your yellow line, is what we call buy. When your blue line is above your yellow line, it is buy. Does that make sense? Blue line above yellow line, buy. Okay? If that makes sense to you, drop some 444 in the chat box. Blue line above yellow line, buy. If that makes sense to you, drop some 444 in the chat box. Amazing. Okay, now we've actually what? Differentiated our buy. Now for the sell, when your yellow line, which is your EMA, is above your blue line, that's sell. When your yellow line is above what? Your blue line, that's sell. If that makes sense to you, drop some 777 in the chat box. If that makes sense to you, drop some 777 in the chat box. If it makes sense to you, makes a whole lot of sense to you, drop some 777 in the chat box. Amazing. So now we've done what? Step 3. We've done what? Step 3, okay? The next step is what? Step 4. I hope everybody's following. If you're following, drop some yeses in the chat box. If you're actually following, drop some yeses in the chat box. Okay, amazing. So that's step 3. Now that you've actually differentiated your buy from your sell, now when we're talking about what? We're talking about the support and resistance, because I do not want to, cloud your head very fast. There's something that actually makes us know whether it's a support or a resistance, and that's what we call the touch system. That's what we call the touch system. How many times did it touch a particular zone to validate that zone as a support? Or how many times did it touch a particular zone to validate that zone as a what? Resistance. Now we have the touch system. For the touch system, for 1 to 2 days, you want to get what? 3 to 5 touches on that zone to be able to say this is a what? Good support or a good resistance. I will show you the touches, okay? I'll show you. I've showed you before, but maybe it did not just stick to your head. For 1 to 2 days, 1 to 2 days, okay? 1 to 2 days, okay? It means that what? For each zone that you've drawn, for it to validate that zone as a good support or good resistance, those candlesticks must bounce off 3 to 5 times to validate it as a good support or a good resistance. 1 to 2 days, 3 to 5 touches. 1 to 2 days, 3 to 5 touches. 3 plus days. 3 plus days, that's 5 to 10 plus touches. That means 3 days and above, 5 to 10 plus touches to validate that particular zone as a support or a resistance. Now, let me show you. Let me show you. I'm sure the days might be confusing and the touches may be confusing too. Now, for instance, let's pick this zone. Now, we drew a resistance line here. Yeah? Looking at this place, you can see what? 15th of April. That's the first time that this candle looks like a V touched this zone. Can everybody see that? Don't worry, just follow me. Just follow me. This is a resistance. This line here is a resistance. Okay? Now, the first time that this resistance was touched was what? 15th of April. 15th of what? April. Want to do for 3 to 5 touches. That's the 1 to 2 days. Now let's look for 17th of April. Sorry. This is 17th of April. This is where 17th of April is. Now for 1 to 2 days, it means that for a whole 2 days, what was happening in the market within that zone? How many times did price actually touch that resistance? Now, if you say the very first time it touched it was what? 15th of what? April. So like what? 17th of April, that's 2 days. I told you between 1 to 2 days, you are looking for what? 3 to 5 touches that price touched that resistance zone. Now, let's count together. Can you see the first time it touched it? This is 1. Is everybody following me? Is everybody with me? If you're with me, drop a yes. If you're with me, drop a yes in the chat box. If you're with me, drop a yes in the chat box. Okay, I can see some no's. Okay, let me quickly go over it again very fast. You may have to watch this again. I don't want to waste so much time. 10:30 max, we should be done with this call. Okay? Now, this zone is what? Resistance. I just drew a line here. Resistance. I'm taking it as my resistance zone. Yeah? Now, remember when I told you that for you to know if that resistance is a valid resistance or a valid support, between 1 to 2 days, you're expecting price to touch that zone 3 to 5 times. For it to be, we're looking at resistance now. For this to be a valid resistance, within 1 to 2 days, I'm expecting price to touch that ceiling, that line, 3 to 5 times. Does that make sense? Drop some 777. If it makes sense, quickly drop some 777. Let me know everybody's following me. If it makes sense, drop some 777. It makes sense, yeah? Okay, I can see the sevens are much. Now, within what? 2 days, I'm expecting what? 3 to 5 touches. Then when it's getting to 3 plus, that's 3 days and above, for that zone to be valid enough for me to call it a resistance, price must touch that zone, that ceiling. Price must touch it what? 5 to 10 times. 5 to 10 times. So if it touches it even more than 10 times, it makes it even more valid. It makes that ceiling what? Even more valid. Okay? 1 to 2 days, 3 to 5 touches. Okay? 3 days plus, maybe 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. How many touches do I need? 5 to 10 touches. Now I'm looking at what? 1 to 2 days now. So what do I need? For 1 to 2 days, how many touches do I need? Let me know if everybody's following me. For 1 to 2 days, how many touches do I need? 1 to 2 days, how many touches do I need to validate that ceiling, to validate it? How many touches? 3 to 5, 3 to 5. Amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay. Now I've drawn this resistance because it's 1 to 2 days I'm looking out. So I'm looking out for 3 to 5 touches. If I get more than that, fine. But the least touch I want is 3 times. At least for 1 to 2 days, it must at least touch that zone 3 times. So now let's look at it. The very first time it touched it was what? 15th of April. Can everybody see 15th of April down? If you can see 15th of April, drop some 444 in the chat box. If you can see 15th of April down. If you can see it down. Yes. If you can see it. Okay. Now you see the very first time it touched this ceiling was what? 15th of April. Can we count that as our 1? That's 1. That's 1. Yeah? It touched it what? 1. It touched it here. Can you see it? It touched it what? Once. Second time again, it touched it again. We're still on 15th of April. That's the very first day. That's what? 2. Look at the third time it touched it again. That's what? 3. Does that confirm our zone? Yes or no? We've gotten 3 touches. Does that confirm our zone? Yes or no? Let me see your answers in the chat box. Does that confirm that that's a good resistance? Does that confirm that that's a good resistance? Because it's 1 to 2 days. I'm seeing somebody saying no. If you're saying no, it means you're not following. If you're saying no, it means you're not following. Like I said, 3 to 5 touches confirms it as a good zone for 1 to 2 days. So now we know that that's a good resistance. But if you notice, it's still further touched it. Can you see? Let's even leave this place. Can you see this one? That's 4. That's 4. This is what? 5. We're on the second day now, this 16th of April. I'm sure you can see 16th of April now. That's what? 5. See another one. 6. Can you see? 17th of April, that's already 2 days. That's what? 6. So now, in what? 2 days, we've confirmed about more than 5 touches. So it means that what? Is a what? Good resistance zone for us. So now that we've identified that this is a good resistance zone, if this part of the market has not happened, what I will be expecting is that if this what zone, if price actually breaks and close, we're using the break and close strategy. If price breaks and close above this zone, I'll take it for a buy. It's resistance we're dealing with. I did not mention support too. Don't confuse yourself. If this has not happened, if price had actually what? Broken above this zone, that board that we're throwing to the ceiling, if it breaks the ceiling, if it what? Breaks and close above this zone, what do? I will take it as a buy. Because what? It has broken and closed above our resistance. It has broken and closed above our ceiling. So when you are looking for resistance zone on the Swipecoin Scalper, it's because you're looking for a buy. When you are looking for a resistance zone on the Swipecoin Scalper, it's because you want to get a buy. It's because what? You want to get a buy. So if price conveniently breaks above that resistance, you're taking it on the next candle for a buy. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, drop some 111 in the chat box. If it makes sense, drop some 111 in the chat box. If the resistance, no. The first answer I'm getting is a no. Second answer I'm getting is a no. Does it make sense? Okay. Let me quickly get over it again. Okay. This is actually the first time I'm teaching. I don't know whether I'm a good teacher, but I'm just trying my best to ensure that the newbies actually get it. Okay. This is the first time I'm actually teaching something like this. Now, let me come again. Let me come again. When you identify a resistance on your chart, when you identify your resistance on your Swipecoin Scalper, what you're looking for is a buy. When you identify a resistance on your Swipecoin Scalper, it's because you want to get a buy. You want to get a buy trade. Because we work with break and close strategy here. It's because we work with break and close strategy. So now that we've identified our thought system, you already validate that word resistance. Now, what we are expecting is immediate price breaks and close above this line. Let's assume now at this point in time, after we've seen about almost 6 touches, price now actually comes like this. Let me get an arrow. Price now comes like this. This candle comes all the way up like this. It means that what? We're going to take a buy because what? Price has now what? Closed above. You must ensure that that candle, I'm not talking about wicks. That's why you're changing this to what? Line. That's why you're changing this to line, so that those wicks do not actually confuse you. So now when price closes above this zone, it means that what? Is a buy. You're taking it on the next candle for a buy. Does that make sense now? Yes or no? Let me know. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Does that make sense? Yes or no? Thank God. Evelyn finally said yes. He said no before. It makes sense. I'm happy that you're getting it. It's super easy. Okay? It's super, super easy. So that's for resistance. That's for resistance. That's for resistance. Now, for support, it's still the same touch system. 1 to 2 days, 3 to 5 touches. 3 days plus 5 to 10 touches. I think it's that Chimo. Maybe you have to watch the recorded version later. Maybe you're not getting it now, and it's okay. The first time I probably saw it, maybe I did not even get it. I had to watch it again to get it. So maybe when you're watching it the second time, it's going to make a whole lot of sense to you. Now, we want to do with support, the floor. We want to do with support. We've talked about resistance. Now we want to do with support, which is the floor. Now for support, same rules, same guidelines. 3 to 5 touches for 1 to 2 days, okay? 5 to 10 plus touches for 3 days plus, 3 days and above. Now, let's see. I'm trying to look for a good support. Yeah, this should actually be a good support. This should be a good support. Now, let's come here. This 13th of April. This 13th of April. Now, 13th of April is the very first time that price came to this zone. This is our support. Please, let's watch it. 13th of April is the very first time that price bounced on that what? Zone. So it bounced on it here as 1. Okay? Bounced on it here as what? 2. We're still on 13th of April. Let's move further. Can you see this small one? There's a small one here. This is what? 14th. This is the 2nd day. Bounced on it here as what? 3. Let's come here. There's a small one here too. Bounced on it here as what? 5. This is 15th of April. We're already having 5 touches. Now let's move on. This is what? 6. 15th of April. This is what? 7. This is what? 8. Now, from 13th of April to 17th of April is 4 days. Am I correct? It's 4 days. Now, within that 4 days, we got 8 touches. Does that validate that support? Yes or no? We got 8 touches in 4 days. Does that validate that support? Yes or no? Yes. So because we got 8 touches, it means that what? That is what? A valid support. Now, what do I do? For support, support is the what? Opposite of resistance. Remember, for resistance, we were expecting what? Buy. Now, for support, if it breaks and closes below this zone, if it breaks and closes below this zone, we're going to sell it. Now, did you see what happened? It actually broke and closed below. Did you see what happened? It sold. Did you see? Zone, drop a yes. If you can see the cell, drop a yes. If you can see the cell. I hope my chat box is not slow. My chat box slow. Did you see what happened? You see that it validated, it means that what? That was a valid support. So break and close that zone, I would have made a whole lot of money if I cut that. It makes sense. Makes sense, yeah? That's it. So we've done that. We've done our first step, which is what? Changing candlesticks to line. Our second step, which is what? Identifying support and resistance to make us know when to buy or sell. Douglas, maybe you need to watch this again. Maybe you need to watch this again. It's okay if you don't understand it. It's okay. Don't feel bad that you don't understand it, okay? We've identified what? Support and resistance. Let's not go faster than ourselves. We're still analyzing the market, okay? Let's not go. Evelyn is now very fast. She's understanding it. I'm happy that you're getting it. Before you were putting no, but I'm happy you're getting it now, okay? So the first one is change what? Candlesticks to line. Second one is what? Identifying support and resistance. Resistance for buy, support for what? Sell. The third one is what? Understanding our EMA line to know whether it's a buy trend or what? A sell trend. Then the very fourth one is what? You want to go set an alert. It's for crypto, so I did not tell you to go and use this for Forex, so please. It's for crypto. It's for crypto, so please, I beg you in the name of God. I did not tell you to use it for HFX either. It's for crypto. HFX is not my thing. I'm sorry about that. Maybe one day I'm just really going to devote a whole lot of time to that. 2 minutes, everywhere will just cut down HFX. I don't know how you guys deal with that. I can't deal, man. Can't deal. But with crypto, you know, I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling the vibe. So it's for crypto only. Now, the very fourth step is what? You want to set an alert. Where do you set an alert? You want to set an alert on trading view. You want to set an alert on trading view. You've gotten your resistance, you're looking for a buy. Now, this resistance here is what? The price is what? 45.90. That's the price. Now, let me give you a quick tip. For resistance, now when you want to set an alert on trading view, you are going to add 100 pips to that price. Why are you adding 100 pips? Some people just think maybe it's not the same with trading view. No, that's not why. Because you want it to successfully break. You want it to successfully break over that zone. You want to give it that breathing space to break. So that's why you're not using Swipecoin Scalper price. So you're going to add 100 pips to resistance. So if I was going to add an alert, this is what? 4590.21. If I was going to add 100 pips to this, that would be 4690.21. So I'll go to my trading view. Can you see where alert is? If you can see that, drop some 77 in the chat box. If you can see where alert is, drop some 777 in the chat box. If you can see where alert is, drop some 77. You click on alert. Let me delete my previous one. If I don't delete it, I will not be able to set another alert because I do not subscribe to TradingView. So you come to the alert. Remember, it's BTC USD. Our resistance was what? 4590. But because it's what? Resistance, we're adding 100 pips so that it can give us that certainty that it conveniently broke that zone. So what do? I come to this value here. I put what? 4690. Please always add that 100 pips when it's resistance. Add it to add it. Don't say I did not tell you. 40.690. Now is what? Oh, I just hope my trading view is not hanging. Let me try again. Change our value here towards 4690.21. Remember, it's resistance. You're expecting it to what? Cross up. So click on crossing up. Crossing up for resistance, crossing up. Just write it down. Please don't try to overanalyze it. Don't ask that why is it crossing up? Because I know some of you ask why is it crossing up? It is crossing up because it is resistance. That is why it is crossing up. Don't overanalyze it. Don't say why is it not moving up or why is it not this one? I know we're inquisitive, but you know, they've already made it easy for you. So why are you trying to overanalyze it? Why do you want to scatter your brain? It's already simplified, so just follow it. Crossing up. So what do? I want you to send me an email when price is what? Crossing up 4690.21. What do I now do? The alert name, BTC buy. That's what I'll just put. Message, sorry. I'll just what? Create. If I create it, can you see it? If price now what? Closes above this zone, TradingView is going to alert me. And when TradingView alerts me, I'll wait for that candle to successfully. Sometimes TradingView will alert you that it's crossing what? That zone. But if it does not close, that candle, that current candle needs to close above that 690. If it doesn't close, don't take it. You're setting an alert to let you know when there's a current candle crossing that zone. If it doesn't close it, please, please and please, dears, don't take it. That's what it's called, break and close. Break and close that zone. It has to what? Break and close. Can you see this particular candle? Can you see? Can you see what happened? It broke and closed above. Now, I'm not talking about wick. Wick is this thing on top, this slim line. No, the full body of the candle has to close above. So immediately it closes above, I'm entering that trade for a buy. Please don't second guess that trade. If you lose it, it's okay. But the moment you start second guessing it, that trade, trust me, you will lose it at the end of the day. Don't second guess. So when it alerts you that it has what? Crossed 40.690. Wait for that candle to close above that 40.690. Immediately it closes. You have a minute to 5 minutes on the new candle to, somebody say they are lost. Okay, let me come again. Let me come again. We set the alerts here. Did everybody get it to the alert part? Yes or no? You got it to the alert part on setting the alert. You did not get setting the alert. Wow. Okay, let's go back to the alert. Now from my Swipecoin Scalper, I've gotten a resistance zone of 40.590. I've gotten what? 4590. That's the price that I got from what? The resistance on Swipecoin Scalper. It means that what? I'm looking for a buy. Okay? It means that if price closes above what? That 4590, I'm going to take it for a buy. Now, how do you set your alert? Because you can't start monitoring it now. You can't start monitoring it. So let the alerts monitor it for you. What do? I go to Trading View. So when I come to Trading View, can everybody see the alert here where my mouse is? If you can see it, drop a yes. If you can see it, drop a yes. I come to my alerts. When I come to my alerts, I'm going to put what? Let me delete the previous one. So from our alerts, the what? The crypto that we're trading is what? BTC. Is what? BTC. Yeah. Now, it makes sense. We picked BTC. Now, because it's resistance, we're looking for a buy. So we're going to what? Click on what? Crossing up. Crossing up. You're trying to tell Trading View that if price is crossing up, it should what? Alert you. Now, what's the value? Remember, our value from here is what? 4590. But we're going to add 100 pips to it. Why we're adding 100 pips is so that it conveniently breaks. So that it what? Conveniently breaks that zone. So we're going to add 100 pips. If we add 100 pips to 4590, we have 4690. So let's go back to Trading View. We put what? 4690. Point what? 21. After putting that, what do? The alert name will what? BTC buy. Noise resistance. Break and close above. You want to buy. Click on buy. What do? Then we create it. So this will send you an email. You must have signed up with Trading View, obviously, for you to get an email. If you're not signed up, it will not give you an email. Do you understand? So can you see it has set the alert for us? So when price is trying to cross that zone, Trading View is going to alert you that, okay, oh, Evelyn, price is already crossing that your resistance zone for a buy. So what do? You go to your Trading View ASAP, wait for that price to successfully close above your alert zone. Immediately it closes above your alert zone, you are entering ASAP for a buy. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Does that make sense? It breaks and closes above that alert zone, you're taking it for a buy. ASAP, it must break and close above that zone. Now, okay, you guys are following, amazing. So it has the full body. I'm not talking about the wick of the candle. All these things here are weak. This one is weak. So if it's just the wick that closes above that alert zone, please don't take it. It has not closed above that zone. Don't take it yet. Wait for a full body to what? Close above that alert zone. Once it closes it, boom, you take that trade for a buy. You take it on the next candle. Now you have 1 to 5 minutes to enter that trade. After 5 minutes, 5 or more minutes, don't take that trade. Don't take that trade. After 5 minutes of the next candle, some people are like, sometimes I take a minute to actually see, maybe to give me a lower entry. On the next, immediately it closes, you see a next candle to start reading. You see a next candle. Can you see this candle? Okay, see this price where it's counting down. Let's say this is the candle. Hold on, let me show you. Let's say this is the candle that closed above our alert zone. Let's say this is the candle. If you're not seeing my screen, it's you. If you're not seeing my screen, it's you. Let's say this is the candle that closed above. So immediately on the next candle, can you say next candle has opened? It's starting for what? From 15 minutes downward. Nobody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? Now, this candle what? Was the candle that broke and closed above our alert zone. It's an instance. Now, the next candle will start counting from 15 minutes downward. So what I mean by taking it within 1 to 5 minutes is from 15 minutes down to 10 minutes as it's counting down. Once it's less than 10 minutes, please avoid that trade. It has gone. There's no need for you to take it again. There's no need for you to take it. So that means if you take the candle, by the signal is on 30 minutes, you can still take it. 12 minutes, you can still take it. Once it's less than that 10 minutes, that candle has already lasted for 5 minutes out of the 15 minutes. Nothing concerns you whether it's coming up or coming down. You are taking it for a buy, it's resistance. Don't second guess it. The moment you second guess it, please leave the trade. Don't take it again. If you second guess it, you will lose. That's where your mental state comes in. So even if the candle is going down, you are taking it for a buy. Does that make sense? You're taking it for a buy. Please don't second guess it. Don't second guess it. Guys, I don't want to waste so much time on this call. I don't want everybody to be tired. You know, when you're learning and you're tired, it's not making sense again. So you try to watch it again. You try to watch it again. It's recorded, okay? Just try to watch it again. So what I'm trying to say is that within what? From 15 to what? 10 minutes. 15 to 10 minutes. That's when you can take. That's 5 minutes of that candle forming. You can take. After 5 minutes, please don't take it again. Usually I wait for a minute to see whether it's going to give me a lower zone to take for that buy. And sometimes I just take it like that. Because regardless, I know that I'll hit profit. And if it doesn't hit, it's fine. It's not a problem. You get my point? It's not a problem. So I hope you understood that now. If you understand, drop some 77 in the chat box. If you understand the alert system, drop some 777 in the chat box. Drop some 7777. Amazing. I love the fact that you guys are getting it. I love that. So that's it for resistance. For support, looking at this zone where we draw our support is what? Can you see? 39938.36. $39938.36. That's the zone for our support. Now we want to go and set an alert on what? Trading view. What do we do? For support is a sell, yeah? For support is a sell. Now you're what? Subtracting 100 pips. Remember resistance, we did what? We added. For support, just write it down. Just write it down. You are subtracting 100 pips. For support, you are subtracting what? 100 pips. So if you subtract 100 pips from 39938.36, we will have what? 39838.36. What's the next thing to do? Go to your trading view. Go to your what? Trading view. Now let me delete my previous alerts so that I can be able to what? Set another one. So what do I do first? I come to my alert. Ensure that it's BTC that is here. Now for support, it is crossing down that you will pick. Resistance, what do we do? Crossing up. Support, crossing down, because you're trying to get a sell. Okay? Crossing down. You impute your value, which is what? 39838.36. We have subtracted our 100 pips. Don't forget, write it down. Just write it down to make sense. Okay? Then what do we do? Alert name, sell. Then we create. So after creating that, can you see? We have created it. Can you see? Now on creating that, can you see what happened here? Let's look at this candle. To show you that what we are doing is what? Valid. See this zone. Can you see that this candle, this zone that we set as an alert, previously, this candle did what? It broke and closed below this zone. So if you took it for a sell, can you see that massive sell? Now, if you're a scared person because it's going up, you decide to buy, what will happen to you? You will not make money now because what? It still came down. Can you see? You see that previously it actually worked. That zone is a very good zone. What happened? It broke and closed below, and it was a massive sell. It was a massive sell, over 600 pips. It was a massive sell. Does that make sense? So you set an alert. After setting an alert, price crosses, maybe price is crossing below that zone. Trading view, boom, we'll send you an email. Price is already crossing below that zone. You wait for that candle to close. Please, it's break and close. It's not just break. Don't allow market to deceive you. You start saying that it's a scam. You don't know that you're the one that scammed yourself. Breaks and close below that zone. What do? You take it for yourself. ASAP. You have 5 minutes to get on that trade. 5 minutes after that candle closes to get on that trade. After 5 minutes, please stay off. Don't take that sell any longer. So if making sense to you so far, drop some, 555 in the chat box. Let's know that we're getting a whole lot of value from this. Drop some 555 in the chat box. Making a whole lot of sense to you. Drop some 555 in the chat box. Amazing. I love the fact. Make sure you see this again. Make sure you see the recorded. I'm going to drop it very soon. Make sure you see the recorded training all over again. Amazing. That's it though. Now, how do you set your take profit and stop loss? Usually, I use 300 pips. I think she wants to use this 300 pips. 300 pips for take profits, 300 pips for stop loss. 300 pips for take profits, 300 pips for stop loss. Very easy. 300 pips for take profits, 300 pips for stop loss. That's it. Now, before we go, there's one last thing. I forgot to show you an indicator. That's like sometimes I forget this indicator, but it's very good. It's very, very good. Don't forget. Usually I forget it sometimes. It's been working for me so far, but please don't forget the indicator. Why 300 pips? That's my risk and reward ratio. That's what I want. I'm okay with 300 pips. You're scalping. At least 300 pips is sure. It's not, you're not entering a swing trade. A swing trade is maybe you want to get in about 1,000 pips, 2,000 pips. It's not a swing trade. If you're a swing trader, I don't know if this is for you. Sometimes you can catch a swing trade on this. If you are confused on how to enter the trade, it means you've not been launched. Go and watch your launch call. Make sure you get launched on DCX. This is not a launch call. This is just about Swipecoin Scalper. Okay? So 300 pips for take profits, 300 pips for stop loss. You say I'm understanding my problem. So with that, I know my risk and reward ratio. You know, some people will say, oh, this year is to blow account. It's a lie, oh. How? Because you don't know your risk and reward ratio. That's it. You don't know it. Like me with that, I started with about $40 something recently. I think I opened a Forex account, and for now, daily, 5% of my account is about $3. So when I make $3, no matter how much the money is tempting me, still going my way, I will not touch it. I've gotten my 300 pips, I'm done. So if you're a swing trader, I don't know how this can work for you. This is for scalping, basically. 300 pips, let it go. Even if you see another trade, my dear, wait for the next day. It's just you, being a disciplined person. It's you being a disciplined trader. I learned being disciplined. Like, not many accounts I've uploaded in this life. But, it's all right. It is what it is. So, it's that easy. Do you understand? So, before I go on, then the indicators that I wanted to mention to you, we have super trend. That's what we call super trend. After you must have done all your analysis, before you even go set your alerts, you want to what? Put super trend. You want to check for super trend. Super trend is to, just give that extra juice to your analysis to make sure that, it's correct. Do you understand? So you just come to indicators. This is where I put indicators from. I put what? Super trend. Super trend. Then click on it. When you click on super trend, it's going to apply it to it. Okay? Super trend actually shows what? The direction. It shows you when there's change in trend in the market. It shows you when there's change in trend. So let me quickly change the setting. Change the setting to go to settings. Click on super trend. Go to settings. Change it to 1-1. Change it to 1-1. So super trend is just going to validate your trade even more. Okay, it's going to what? Validate your trade even more. So when it is crossing, you see here, if super trend crosses what? Your price, and it is green, it shows that it's a buy that is happening. It's not telling you that, it's time for a buy. See this place, let me show you. Can you see the super trend crossed the blue line? Can you see it? It crossed what? Our price, which is the blue line, and it turned green. It means that we're going for a buy. Are you seeing? Say to go up. For everywhere that it crossed it, see, buy. Did you see that? Crossed it, change green, buy. If it crosses it and it turns red, sell. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that for everywhere that you see it cross it and it changes color. No, it has to align with your analysis. Does that make sense? It has to align with your analysis. Everything has, they complement each other. It's just like salt can be the major ingredient, but you have your Maggi, you have your garlic, you have your ginger, to give it that spice. So that super trend is like an extra spice. I'm not trying to say, if it crosses, immediately it crosses and it turns green, quickly go for buy. No, my dear, it has to what? Correspond with everything, the 4 steps. Does that make sense? It has to what? Correspond with what? Your 4 steps. It corresponds with your 1st step. Boom. We're good to go. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? 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 It's 10:43. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Amazing. That's how the Swipecoin Scalper actually works. It's not hard. What I will urge you to do, go to Shemo Gotosin's session, favorite session in particular, go there. See, I was watching one. Can you see it? I still watch it. See, I like this guy. He just, he made crypto very easy. I love Nick Gomez too. I'm still a swing trader. I love Nick Gomez too. It's good. Nick Gomez actually made me understand, lot of technical analysis. With Swipecoin Scalper, there's not so much technical analysis there. It's just, the break and close strategy, and it's super easy. So you go to your go live, you come to his favorite session. This guy is good. Come to his favorite session, watch everything. Don't ask me which one to watch. Don't be lazy. Watch everything, you'll be very good. And you need to train your mind. So it's that easy. That's how you make money. Now let me quickly show you how you can, compound your account very fast. So like I told you, I opened a small account with Scott4X with $40, and I've been growing it. The account is just $50 right now because I'm following my trading plan. I'm not greedy. So sometimes, even when I know it's still going my way, I don't rush it, okay? So I go to my compound daily calculator. Yeah. So you can use Scott4X or I think OctaFX for a $100 account. And you can make 5% daily. 5% is fine. 5% daily. 100%. Maybe you're compounding for 30 days. You trade weekends? Absolutely, we trade weekends. So calculate now. Can you see? Start with $100 in 1 month. You already have ×4 of your account just by making what 5% every day. Even if you make $300 at the end of 1 month, isn't that amazing? I mean, you win more than you lose. Makes sense that way. You can share your results to just tell you how much you need to make per day. Can you see it? This is your 5% per day. This is how much you need to make per day. So there are some days you might even make more than that. Let it go. Okay? There are days that you can make like more than that. Let it go. So it's that easy. So if you guys have gotten value so far from this call, or if it was an amazing session for you, drop some value in the chat box. If this was a super amazing session for you, you got a lot of value, you know that this is going to change a whole lot for you. It's going to change the game for you. Drop some value in the chat box. So I'm going to take just 5 questions. 5 questions. So let me see your questions in the chat box. Just 5 questions, only 5 questions. I'm taking 5 questions. So what are your questions? Just 5. 5 and we round up. I don't like my calls being long. I think the next one is going to be 1 hour, 30 minutes. How to get the recorded video? You will get it. Don't worry, I'll drop it. Oh, somebody saying 300 pips means 3%. No, 300 pips is just a very sure movement for scalping. For me, it's just my own opinion. I'm following what Shehu does. I'm following who knows road. You say you've observed Swipecoin Scalper recently. It has not been accurate with the trade calls. Oh, that's what you think. I think it's you. It's not about Swipecoin Scalper, it's you. You don't even, most times, you don't even actually need to wait for Swipecoin Scalper to call a trade. You can take it on your own. If you know support and resistance, you can. And sometimes Swipecoin Scalper calls a trade. On looking at it, if it doesn't match your analysis, you leave it. If it doesn't match your analysis, you can leave it. But trust me, the accuracy is over 85%. If you actually know what you're doing, it's over 85%. So I think it's you. Maybe you need to learn more and you need to understand that it's not all trades you need to take. I told you it's over 85%. Maybe it's that particular one that is a loser and you decided to take it. So you get, it happens like that. How do we know where to start a support line? True touch system, where you're getting price bounce off every single time. Like a floor where price is what? Touching, reversing. It touches it, it goes back up. Touches it, goes back up. If you see it like on the same level, you draw your support line there. When the line turned down in the resistance trend and you buy, will it still be in profit? Absolutely, except you're second guessing. If you're second guessing it, you will lose. And you can't win all trades. So if it's a loser, because you have your risk reward ratio, you just lose 5%, and that's all. It's fine. My alert is asking me to subscribe before I can use it. Oh, why? I think you're entitled to just 1 alert. 1 alert if you're not subscribed to TradingView. So what next again? Let me see. What is the compound daily plan for? It's to show you how much you want to make per trade. It's to show you your plan. You need to have a plan. Every trader has a plan. Every trader has a plan. So it means that you get that, that's all. If the candle finishes above, the second candle comes down below your wrist, and what do? You take your buy. You're second guessing it. That's why you're still asking me, what do? You still take your buy, regardless. If it's coming down, it doesn't concern you. You know that it is going up. You're taking it for a buy. So regardless, so not all trades go in your direction immediately. Sometimes it needs to go down and eat some people's stop loss first. It's normal. You're not the only one in the markets there. Coach, why compounding? I'm taking 5 questions, guys. I don't want to waste so much time. I'm taking 5 questions. So I'm sure everybody was able to get value. I'm super excited I was able to do this for you guys. I love you guys so much, and I really want you to excel on this platform. With this, you learn, you will definitely earn. Okay? If you learn, you will definitely earn. So I love you guys so much. I cannot wait to see all of your results from this. I can't wait to see all of your results. I love you guys, especially my newbies. I love you guys. I want you guys to make a whole lot of money. Please make sure you follow all of this. If you've not been launched before, ensure that you're launched. So thank you so much, guys, for having me on the call today. It's my pleasure. Trust me, I especially got so much value with this. I can see I've learned a lot. It's amazing that I could actually share this. This is my first time doing this, and it's really amazing. I'm happy that I was able to do this for all of you. So don't go and sleep. Learn. Share what Butos is coming on very soon. Log on this section, get some value. My Instagram handle, that's my name, toyin.absalam_. You can follow me, tag me, show some love, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for plugging on. I can't wait to see you on the other side of success. Thank you so, so much.